Are you struggling to stay focused and make good decisions for yourself and your business? Whether it's society or business coaches, you hear so many different opinions on what you should be focusing on or doing. Like they're trying to put you in a box, but that can feel overwhelming. So, how do you make better decisions and choices for yourself and your business and silence that chatter? Hey, y'all, I'm Jennifer, the productivity coach and lifestyle strategist for child-free business owners. Today, I'm going to talk about 11 tips to make better decisions and choices for yourself and business when everyone around you is shooting at you. I'll talk about why you're overwhelmed, how to get focused, and how to make good decisions for yourself. So let's go. Before we dive into the tips, let's clarify what overwhelm actually is. It can be defined as feeling strongly about something that you don't know how to deal with, makes you feel defeated, or feeling like there's too much of something and it paralyzes you. You can't move forward with it. And when you're overwhelmed, of course, it negatively impacts your decision making and choices. For example, you may make a hasty decision without considering all the options or make a poor choice due to your lack of focus. On top of that, you may have a hard time distinguishing the difference between what's actually your opinion and what you want versus what society throws at you. And this can certainly keep you stuck and make you doubt yourself. So let's talk about some ways to prevent overwhelm and increase your focus. That way you can make those better decisions. You need to break down big tasks into small, manageable steps. Breaking down complex goals and tasks and working backwards into smaller, more manageable steps can take a huge weight off you and definitely help avoid feeling overwhelmed. This approach allows you to focus on one smaller task at a time, and it's easier to complete because it feels more doable. It doesn't feel like too much of a challenge that's pushing you too much. But it's not always necessarily easy either. It challenges you just enough to push you a little bit, and that's it. But you are able to do it. And so as you do one task, and then you start to gain that momentum because you do another task and another task, another little task. And next thing you know, you've got it done. So by breaking down these tasks into smaller steps, you can see the progress more easily. Next, prioritize tasks and decisions based on importance and urgency. So when you have a lot of tasks to complete, it can be challenging to determine where to start. So it helps to have a tool to help you better determine what you need to do now versus later. I'll share my favorite way of doing this in just a moment. Next, want to use time management techniques to help you stay on track and focus on the most important tasks. So time management techniques like calendar blocking can really help you allocate your time more effectively and stay focused on the most important tasks because you have more of a visual. And if you love to color code like me, then it's a much easier visual at an overview glance. So you can just see what's going on. And by scheduling time for each of these tasks, you ensure you've got enough time to actually complete them, and knowing what you are going to work on within a certain time block also helps avoid multitasking, which can lead to decreased productivity and increase your stress. And we don't want that. And because there are so many different time management techniques, in my programs, I help you figure out like which techniques are best for you. Next, practice mindfulness and meditation to clear your mind and reduce stress. And mindfulness involves being present in the moment and focusing on your thoughts and feelings without judgment. You're right there by yourself, no one's watching you, so you don't have to feel ridiculous no matter what you decide to do because no one's going to be watching you. By practicing mindfulness, it also reduces your anxiety, which can help you make clear decisions and stay focused. Because the more we're in our emotions, the harder it is to make decisions, especially big decisions. And mindfulness and meditation can look very different for you than it does for me. So for me, that means doing yoga, going for a walk out in nature, just zoning out while sipping on coffee. But essentially, it's about awareness and being in the moment. trying to clear your mind without forcing it. Do mindfulness or meditation, whatever you're comfortable with, and whatever that looks like for you. You also want to eliminate distractions and set boundaries. Distractions can make it so challenging to stay focused and on task, and they can contribute to feeling overwhelmed. So, setting boundaries such as turning off notifications on your phone or closing all the computer tabs that you're not using for your current project, is even closing the tabs for social media so you don't go into that hole. That can help eliminate a lot of distractions. And you're going to be way less likely to waste time on activities that aren't even essential to your work that you're focused on. So you're going to get more done. All right, now let's talk about some strategies to help make better decisions and choices. One way is to reduce your day-to-day decision fatigue. Research shows that decision making can be mentally exhausting and can lead to decision fatigue, which can decrease your ability to make good decisions over time. So the less decisions you have to make, the better. And one way to reduce your decision fatigue is to your daily routine as much as possible. This can include meal planning, laying out your clothes the night before, putting your bills on auto pay, and planning your schedule the night before, the week before. So by eliminating the small stuff, minimizing routine decisions, you free up so much mental energy that you're able to focus on more important decisions and bigger decisions that require a lot of your attention and creativity. And then, of course, you're going to want to identify your priorities. Before making decisions, it's important to identify what your priorities actually are. And that's based on a lot of different things, like what are the most important aspects of your business that you need to focus on? What are the goals you want to achieve right now? And of course, that changes and fluctuates throughout your life and throughout the year, depending on what's going on. So now I'm going to share my favorite tool I use to help me with making decisions. Technically, there's two. So the first one is a clarity journal that I created. And I have certain prompts in there that I go through, and it really makes you think deeper about what you want and why. So having this clarity is a big part of this. It's helping you prioritize. And then the other big one, which is what I originally was going to mention, is the Eisenhower matrix. So this is a tool that I love to help me distinguish how important or urgent a task is. So once you have a clear understanding of your priorities, you can make decisions that align with them. This will help you avoid distractions and prevent the overwhelm, and you can focus on what's truly important. Next, take some time to reflect. When you're faced with a big decision, it's important to take some time to take a step back to reflect on all your options. You don't want to rush into a decision, especially when it's 100% emotional, without considering all the possible incomes. So take a step back, review your priorities, and consider the pros and cons of each option. Yes, of course, you want your emotions to play some part of it, but don't let it be the main thing that drives your decision. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute, but it's going to help you make more informed decisions because your head is clear, have a better idea of what's going on. It'll help you avoid making a hasty choice that you might later regret. Now, as a disclaimer, these are all ways that are going to help reduce the chances of regretting and failing. But of course, there is no guarantee way to prevent failure in making your decisions. With that, just know that you'll decrease the likeliness of it. Sometimes you kind of just have to go for it and give it a try and find out what's going on and see if it's something you want to do or not. If not, you can always pivot and go a different direction. I just don't want you to feel overwhelmed about, oh, I have to make the exact right decision, because when you're clear on who you are and what you want and why, it makes this process so much easier. Next, you want to break it down. Sometimes decisions can seem overwhelming, especially if they involve multiple factors and you need to consider like your spouse or something. So one way to prevent overwhelm is to break down the decision, just like the task, into more manageable parts. For example, if you're deciding whether or not to launch a new product or service, You could break it down into smaller tasks such as market research, development, creating a marketing plan, and determining pricing. So by tackling one task at a time, it's going to make it a lot easier to make a more informed decision. Another thing that really helps is because there are so many people telling you their opinions in all directions, you have to be very particular about who you trust, want to have advice from. So for this tip, it's to get a second opinion. So especially if it's something you've never done before, this is the main reason to get a second opinion, is to talk to someone you really trust who has had the experience of what you're wanting to do and ask them for advice. Again, it's someone that you completely trust and you're doing something similar. They can provide you with a fresh perspective that you might not have thought of, which can help you make a better decision. Always remember that it's ultimately your decision to make, not theirs. You just use the feedback that you receive to inform your decision, but don't let others make the decision for you, because you are worthy and you are perfectly capable of making decisions for your own life and business. And finally, trust your gut. As a child-free business owner, you have the advantage of being able to rely on your instincts without distractions. If something doesn't feel right, take the time to reconsider your options. Your intuition can be a powerful tool in helping you make better decisions. However, it's important to balance your gut instincts with rational thinking and data-driven decision making. So it's a combination of all of those things. I know that there were some times when I didn't, like, deep down, something really felt off. I'm also an empath, so it's something I'm quite sensitive to begin with. So if something feels off to begin with, but you just can't place your finger on it, that is your gut instinct. Pay attention to it. Anytime I did not listen to it, something bad happened or I regretted something. And ever since, I've started trusting myself and trusting my gut and having that rational, clear head of thinking and having all the different data to help me make a decision. Things have worked out so much better. So by practicing these tips, you can improve your decision-making skills and reduce your overwhelm, and you'll be able to make a lot more informed decisions that align with your priorities and help you achieve your business goals. So although making decisions and choices can be challenging, but with these tips and strategies, you'll be able to actually focus and help prevent that overwhelm. Remember to identify your priorities, take time to reflect, and trust your gut. So thanks for watching. Check out this next video.